My name is Andrzej Rybka. I'm international project specialist of the Aviation Valley Association. So, starting up with the location, Aviation Valley is located in southeastern part of Poland, the Central Eastern Europe. As you already mentioned, Paulina, Aviation Valley is located, is famous for its aerospace industry and pilot training centers, and that's completely true. And coming back to the region, which is heavily concentrating on the aerospace industry, and one of its specialities is scientific research centers, as well as well-organized educational and training facilities. It all started more than 100 years ago. Here we can see just a picture of the first flight that was done in Rzeszów on the 6th November of 1912. And coming back to the history, so the aerospace industry has more than 100 years of the history, and the first milestone in its development occurred in 1936, when the government decided to establish the Central Industrial Region, which is called COP. During the building of the idea of COP, several industrial facilities were constructed in the region, and the most important ones was established in Mielec and in Rzeszów, two biggest cities of the Podkarpackie region. And those plants started the production of the aircraft power plants, and was famous by its time, the modern PZL wash in 1930s. It was a bomber, and of course, among other products, as you can see on the slide, those facilities were also great known for MiG 15 and 17, because the sector gained modern technologies that allowed to produce turbine power plants. It was, for those times, I can say, an impressive technological leap because of the foreign investment that was done in Poland. Those facilities, the one in Mielec and the other one in Rzeszów, survived the Second World War. They survived communism time and the transition of Poland into an economic market economy in 1989. So this transition of the economy into a market economy had a really painful result. For instance, the industry lost the majority of the clients because it was the Soviet Union, because of the World War II, and some other countries of the Central Europe. And the drop in demand was sudden, and in some cases of the factories, it reached even 80%. So it was huge. It was dramatic. It was clear that without painful changes, the sector would crumble in Poland. So the aerospace industry had to find strength within itself to make the necessary changes to adapt to the new conditions. And these transformations, as you can see here, consisted of 4 parts. The first part was to restructure the companies. So, and actually to do that, they had to limit employment numbers. And employment in this time dropped from 40,000 employees to 15. So it was a giant drop. and restructuring paved the way to the privatization. A radical privatization strategy proved to be successful, and it relied on finding the global strategic investors from the aviation sector. And coming back to the two main facilities that was in Podkarpackie region, Mielec. The PZL Mielec was obtained the investor Sikorski, later on Augusta Westland, and nowadays it's a Leonardo company. And the facility in Rzeszów, WSK Rzeszów, got the Pratt & Whitney investor. So the smaller factories were also privatized as well. So it allowed those factories to secure three fundamental benefits. So to secure capital, knowledge, and the market. Because of the foreign investors and because of the factories secured that benefits, it was clearly designed to go up and step ahead to get the world-class manufacturing, obtaining the technology from the foreign investors, of course. And today, the factories of the Polish aerospace industry are one of the best in a global level. And on the foundation of the world-class production base, the fourth stage, as you can see, the process has already occurred, which is developing the R&D activities, laboratories, in connection with universities to obtain the high-level product. Like I mentioned at the beginning, as you can see here on the map, Aviation Valley is located in southeastern part of Poland. It was established as a non-profit organization, and it is like that till nowadays. It is the largest and the most developed cluster in Poland. Most of the Aviation Valley companies are located in Subcarpathian Voivodeship, Podkarpackie region, and the heart of Aviation Valley is located in Rzeszów. As you can see here, that's the biggest orange dot on the map. The numbers speaks for themselves, as always. So the current employment, that's 32 employees. We have 177 members. And among those employees, there's 12,000 of high-skilled engineers. The annual sales exceeds $3 billion, and out of which 95% goes on export. And the sales includes the products of the highest quality that go through the large amount of processing via our SME base. Our products are exported mainly to Canada, United States, and western part of Europe. Aviation Valley companies invested over $6 billion into their development to reach that current technological level of the factories, which are one of the best. It's not our opinion. That's the opinion of the experts. That's one of the best in Europe and around the world. As I said already, Aviation Valley have attracted many foreign investors that represent powerful global corporations such as Pratt & Whitney, Lockheed Martin, Lufthansa Technik, Boeing, MTU, GE, Collins, Safran, and many more, as you can see here. Also, the development of the small and medium enterprises had a really high importance, because it was a great base for the big players actually to get their production done. And dozens of small companies have joined our cluster, which allowed us to build a great relations with the big ones, as well as some and become enable SMEs to become business partners of the big OMEs. Here you can see Aviation Valley cluster structure, which consists of innovative industry enterprises. Most of them are the manufacturing companies with a significant number of aerospace products as a parts, sub-assemblies, assemblies of turbine engines, fuselages, helicopters. The most important global manufacturers for the most important global manufacturers from the aerospace sector, like Leonardo, like Lockheed Martin. The companies of the Aviation Valley are also the manufacturers of the final products, like airplanes, helicopters, gliders, many lightweight and ultralight aircrafts. Most of the small and medium companies of Aviation Valley cluster compete with each other. That's what cluster is about. And in practice, every member of the cluster has competitor within the cluster. So cluster members also compete over the candidates. I will later on speak about the educational system, what we have done, and how we secured the employees for the companies. There are many different forms of the competition within the cluster, which drives members not only to compete, but also motivates them to cooperate in some certain fields. That was actually done within the educational system. Here you can see some final products. The most known out of Aviation Valley, that includes the small aircrafts of the transport like M28, produced in PZL Mielec, that's Sikorsky Black Hawk, as well as the helicopter from the Leonardo PZL Świdnik. The product also includes the turbines and the piston engines as well for the helicopters. The turbine engines are manufactured primarily by Pratt & Whitney. However, many components and parts of the newest generation of engines are manufactured in other aerospace companies such as Safran, MTU, and Avio. As you can see on this example of the Airbus 320 Neo, here you can see the global WORKSHARE of the Aviation Valley. So as I mentioned, the industry is modern, is well organized, and has been invested by the foreign investor a huge amount of money. And the Polish aerospace industry participates in the production of the newest Airbus and Boeing models, as you can see here. Okay, so one of the most remarkable achievements of Aviation Valley was establishment of the local supply chain, actually developed from the scratch. Because after the World War II, there was barely nothing, and aerospace industry somehow had to reinforce and do something. So nowadays we have the entire value chain from the biggest companies, the final producers, down to the next level of the small and medium businesses and even micro enterprises that are connected through cooperation and offering different products and services. As you can see here, this is an example by the case of the landing gear production. So the here you can see Goodrich Aerospace, but nowadays it's a Collins Aerospace that can work with the local companies, forging company in Stalowa Wola and family-owned Ultratech company who provides bushings and assembly the parts. So the next thing is technology park, R&D structure, and university side. So we've been able to grow a strong ties with Polish academia and science. That was the first of all at the very beginning. That was the main issue to bring together academia and industry. In this time, we have ensured a stable source of financing, research and development activities through close cooperation with different organizations. One of the organizations is National Center for Research and Development, NCBR, and through that we establish, I think, the biggest sectorial program for 6 million zlotys. It was called Innolot, and to suit the foreign investors, and this special economic zone was created here in Podkarpackie region, which includes the Aeropolis Industrial Technology Park, which you can see here. It's located near the airport, which is dedicated to the aerospace sector investment and investors. Next thing is the laboratory. So we have here you can see just some of the laboratories that are located in Rzeszów. Many more are located all over the Podkarpackie region and Aviation Valley geographical area. On the left side, that's laboratory of advanced materials at the Rzeszów University of Technology. The next one is on nanomaterial laboratory, which is also located right next to the material laboratory. Already mentioned about the aerospace and R&D centers. So great investments was done by the big OMEs. Coming to the education, so we were able to build some, as I can say, consolidated educational system that supports the development of our companies. We wanted to secure the employees, the future workers, and by doing this, the system includes universities, colleges, high schools, and even the primary schools. We had to start from the beginning. So in regards, for many years, the Children Technical University, because that's what is it called, has been functioning, and during the time has given thousands of children the opportunity to acquire fascinating engineering knowledge about the aerospace industry. At the secondary level of education, we have built and modernized 13 practical educational centers at a cost of 112 million, which is called CEXO program, which is program for CNC operators. So one of the most important goals and the highest priorities of the Aviation Valley was the promotion and internationalization. So there was numerous of articles of Aviation Valley in global recognized press outlets like Financial Times, Flight International, Politics, and Aviation Week. Representatives of the Aviation Valley took part in many events organized by European Commission, ASD, European Aerospace Cluster Partnership, and many, many more. And this is a result actually of the fact that Aviation Valley activities often exceeds the range of the region and the country, and we reach the international level. We have also a lot of foreign visits to the companies of Aviation Valley. Thanks to the visits, the companies of the cluster have the opportunity to present themselves on international scale during the several events that they attended in Poland and abroad. The involvement of the cluster members in international cooperation creates new business contacts. As you can see here, some more events that we have attended, and the representatives of the cluster have attended international conferences, trade shows, discussion panels, and many more. One of the institutions I already mentioned that is organizing high-level events is European Aerospace Cluster Partnership. So going European, Aviation Valley was the initiator and the founding member of the EACP, which is European Aerospace Cluster Partnership. It started from the Wings of Region that shaped the European platform under the nowadays name. It currently consists of 43 clusters from 16 countries. The biggest clusters and the most important clusters out of Europe. The network itself, because the structure is not formalized, we call it network, aims at initiating an active exchange of information and knowledge between all of the partners, the clusters, and developing concrete steps for the long-term transnational cooperation between those actors. Also, within this organization, we organize the work between the companies, and we organize company missions, B2B meetings, brokerage events, and many, many more on the European level. So that's also EACP. Our goal is, like you can see here, stronger together, connecting aerospace clusters. We are doing that by letter of intents, but actually the next step, because we went European, also we wanted to go global. So out of the EACP network, we have implemented the global network, which is called GAC, Global Aerospace Clusters Network. And it's also to exchange the contacts, have regular meetings, establish a new target countries, provide more efficient activities to the cluster members, as well as enhance the international cooperation between the clusters, go abroad, get new markets, new best practices out of the clusters on a global scale. Here you can see some meetings. As Aviation Valley, we also signed several aerospace clusters, a letter of intents, memorandum of understanding, which was the basis of the numerous number of study tours and economic missions that was organized for the members of the different clusters. So we have implemented our strategy. We have, I can say, produced our document. It's open document, so if you'd like to, if some of you want to get this document, we can send it to you. It's a strategy of Aviation Valley Association till 2025. There you can find many more of what I said today. now maybe it's a little bit time to show off. So we have been awarded as the best business support institution in Poland by the Polish Trade and Investment Agency, and also, as the title of our presentation, we are a key national cluster. Is that status given by the Ministry of Development? It was given since 2015, and nowadays we renew this status every 2 years. The title itself is considered as a quality mark that enhances the prestige of the actors in cluster. So it's even not for us, it's for the members actually. They also get some additional points within the when obtaining the regional funds. Summing it up, so we have plenty of opportunities for the companies. We have plenty of opportunities for the foreign investors because of the major aerospace clients, because of the global supply chain and well-qualified engineers with a direct access to the European funding, special economic zones. Our achievements are, in my opinion, are really impressive and have opened the door for the further growth. And as Aviation Valley staff, we are really convinced that through the consistent cooperation, we will reach our goals and the Aviation Valley will strengthen its position in the global aerospace industry. And that's our main goal for the upcoming years. So thank you for that attention. I'll wait for some questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Adrian, especially for taking over the presentation in such a short notice. And as I can see, we have 3 questions in the chat box at the moment. First one, as you said, there are no as you said, there are the competitors in the cluster. Do they do any projects together? If yes, what is the most impressive from your point of view?
Okay, so as already mentioned, they compete and of course they cooperate. The one thing that I mentioned was implementing InnoLot program, one of the biggest sectorial, if not the biggest sectorial program in Poland. And because of that program, it was a must actually to create a consortia with the companies. So the consortia each consortia consisted of few or several companies, as well as the university side. So there has to be the projects during the first stage of the InnoLot. I don't want to give you the right numbers, but it was approximately of 70 projects, which contain about 80 companies at all. And there was 3 stages of the InnoLot. So on the second stage, it was 27 projects with about 100 companies. Of course, in every project there was a university side. It differs from project to project. The most impressive, I believe in my opinion, every successful project is impressive for us, and for the Polish aerospace industry, every next step and every further achievement is the most impressive thing for us.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Another question. What is the current situation in the companies like Pratt & Whitney, MTU, Safran, Goodrich, and others? How much COVID has influenced these companies and the Aviation Valley labor market?
Okay, so nowadays, as everybody knows, we are in difficult times. In Polish, I will just speak about the Polish companies, because that could differ in each country regarding those companies, the big ones. In Poland, that's about 30% employees that has to go from the companies. They've lost approximately 30% of the staff. And as we already know, it's going to be more. Don't know the exact number because we are still in waiting position, but that's what we get from the signals of the Safran Pratt & Whitney MTU. As I know, for example, in Safran, they do not work on Fridays. That's the same situation actually in Pratt & Whitney. So they had to cut the salary of the employees by 20%. So that's really a big influence on those companies. And as Aviation Valley, we already discovered that it was a few months ago that it's going to be a huge problem for the people that were employed in those companies, and they need to have a job. They will lose it in a couple of months, and we need to do something. So as an Aviation Valley, we have started an initiative. I haven't mentioned about it before, but it's a good question actually, and I can mention about it right now. We have implemented something called labor market. You can call it labor market, and within this labor market, we have connected all of the HR directors from those biggest companies together. First of all, we have organized that kind of structure and annual meetings of those HR directors together with Aviation Valley, and we first of all discussed what's going to happen, how it's going to work, and later on, like I said, we have out of those meetings, we have implemented the labor market program. So what is all about the program? We get first of all HR directors share with us and with other HR people from Aviation Valley, from the entire cluster, the information about how many people will they have actually to be out of their jobs. And also, on the other hand, they put some effort, and they're trying to find, not only within the aerospace industry, but also in some similar industries, because some of the companies from Aviation Valley who are the member are not only divided into are not concentrating on the aerospace. They have divided activities. They do some automotive. They do some other specialties. So actually, they are trying to find the job position for the people. Nowadays, the labor market of the Aviation Valley consists of free, waiting for the employees, 300 positions. So it's not enough. We're still searching for some more. Every week we have a WebEx session with the HR directors, trying to figure out what's new, what kind of new positions are present, and what's happening within the companies itself. I know for Pratt & Whitney the situation is getting better, and also some of the companies who are hiring the employees, for example, from Pratt & Whitney, because they have signed a direct agreement with the Pratt & Whitney, that after some time, because that's not precise, after for example a year working for this company, if the Pratt & Whitney will need some to raise their employees rate, they will give back those employees to the Pratt & Whitney. So that works actually like that for the time being.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your answer. And I have one last question to you. According to your presentation so far, I believe that the focus on the R&D projects and companies are for manufacturing, material processes, manufacturing technologies. What are the initiatives related to system development, electronic hardware, software?
Okay, so that's true. That was the focus on the R&D projects and the companies for the manufacturing mostly. I would say about 90, maybe 90 few percent, because the electronics and the software is still a niche in Poland. Not many companies are specialized in it, and actually there were just a few projects from the avionics, and I believe jobs in Poland will enhance the market as well as the companies to work harder, and even for some new companies like spin-offs, like some startups, to grow up and start and set up their position in avionics sector, I would say.